Welcome back to the Abundant Culture Podcast, where business owners like you come to learn how to grow the valuation of their companies so they can sell in the future. On this show, you'll learn how to sell for top dollar and invest in profitable businesses around the country. Now, here are your hosts, Jazz and Joe.
Welcome back to Abundant Culture Podcast. This week, we are talking more about mindset because we just had, I wouldn't call it an incident, but almost like not a rant, but kind of a rant. So if you're looking for practical information, this isn't the episode. You probably want to go to the week before or the week after.
Yeah.
But, want to take it away?
Yeah. So basically, I signed up for this platform called SearchFunder, and I signed up for it because it's a platform specifically for people who are interested in buying and growing companies. And I haven't been on for very long, but I've also already made a couple seemingly really good connections, which is awesome. And I've been getting better networking results from SearchFunder than I have on actual LinkedIn. So I might not be talking much on LinkedIn from now on since I have SearchFunder, but I went on this platform and everybody's pretty nice. I haven't had a bad experience on SearchFunder as of yet. However, I did have one that was interesting and it stood out to me. I'm not going to say the person's name, but I contacted somebody just introducing myself. And I do this every single day to a couple people just because I do feel like business is a contact sport. So if I'm going to be in business, I should be contacting people every single day if people aren't necessarily contacting me, or even if they are. And I reached out to somebody, and I'm trying to remember exactly how I worded the introduction. I think it was something like, "Hi, I'm Joseph, co-founder of the Abundant Culture Fund, and I'm just trying to grow my network on here. So I wanted to reach out to you, introduce myself, and learn more about what you're doing. My fund or my team actually focuses on buying 6 and 7 figure businesses and growing them into 8 and 9 figure companies. We've been involved in the growth and acquisition of well over 100 different businesses, and now we're in the process of raising $10 million to buy and grow more businesses." It sounded something along those lines. And the guy replies back to me and he says, "Your growth goals are a little bit too ambitious for what we're looking for right now." I forgot what he said after that, but he said basically my goals were too ambitious. And I replied back to him. I said, "Oh, okay, that's fine. Would you still want to network though? Because, for me, every relationship, especially in a business setting, has kind of two purposes. One is the transaction, which is I definitely want the transaction. Definitely want to make more money. However, if I can't get the transaction, I at least want to maybe learn something from you. Maybe we can have like a, 10-20 minute conversation. Maybe you teach me something, maybe I teach you something that still has value to me." So I asked him if he still wanted to network, and I never actually heard back from him. And that was strange to me for multiple different reasons. So the first reason was that he said my goals were too ambitious. So just to give you a little bit of background on why I don't think that is the case, the way my fund is structured, basically, if we buy a business and literally, if we buy a business using this certain deal structure that I won't go over in this episode, if I use this certain deal structure and I don't grow the company, like literally at all, we don't make an extra penny, the company just continues to make what it's been making for however many years it's been making that in cash flow, my investors will still make a 21.56% return, which is not bad. Like, I don't think, it's hard to be, I'm going to buy this company, not really do much with it, and it's not going to grow, and we're going to make a 21.56% return. There's not too many people who can say that that's a possibility, a strong possibility for them. But, just being the type of business owner I am, the goal is always to exceed expectations, and I mean exceed them by a lot, and that's just the type of personality that I have. So that's the first reason. One, if I don't do that at all, my investors still make a lot of money on their money. Two, I can see how that is a very ambitious goal. However, I think it might be a stretch saying it's too ambitious, because technically people on my team has already done that. Like, it's not like that has never happened for somebody working on my team. Just to give you an idea, a lot of people haven't heard of this book evidently called The E-Myth, but it's a really, or at least it was a famous book at one point in time. The person who wrote that book started a company that helps business owners franchise their companies. I spoke to a guy who actually said he wanted to help me. He offered to help me in my fund. I wasn't even looking for this, but I spoke to a guy who worked at that company, and he said that one of the businesses that he worked with went from, I think it was $600,000 in revenue, and this year they're going to cross over $200 million in sales.
And this happens all the time.
That's freaking ridiculous. Honestly, I mean, I want to grow a 6-figure company to a multi-$100 million company, but when I say turning a 6 and 7 figure company to an 8-9 figure company, I mean turn the 7-figure companies to maybe a 9-figure company. I wasn't talking about the 6-figure companies, the 6 figures companies. I'll be happy to turn those into 7 or 8 figure companies. But they turn something that was only doing $600,000 in revenue into something that's now doing $200 million in revenue. Now, is that typical? Not at all. But does it happen all the time? I'm pretty sure it happens every day. Actually, I heard a statistic the other day, and I think the statistic was that every day or every couple days, there's a new billionaire in the world. Like, every day. Like, it's not like they said, oh, like, there's a billionaire added to the world once a year. No, it's like almost an everyday thing at this point.
If you own a small business and you might be looking to sell, you could run into some major issues. Forbes estimates that 9 out of 10 businesses listed never actually sell. Why? Because there's only one way to sell. You need to do these 4 steps first. So if you want to be a part of the 10% of businesses that sell for profits, we've created a free checklist for you so you can sell without those hurdles that normally hold you back. Download the free checklist by visiting www.abundantculture.co/checklist.
I do believe that, yes, it might require a little bit of luck, but I think luck maybe accounts for 10% of it. I think the other 90% is preparation, and I do think that's the part that you can control.
So what I found interesting about this whole scenario is when Joe told me this, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. So I put a poll up on LinkedIn asking people, do you believe someone can have goals that are too ambitious? And to my surprise, out of 29 votes, 66% voted no, but 34% voted yes.
Yeah.
And the people that voted yes, a lot of them were like in banking, so like loan officers and stuff like that.
Which that kind of makes sense.
Or like wealth managers. But there were like a couple of other people, and even like one person was like a conscientious leadership coach or something like that.
Yeah, he couldn't be my coach.
And I honestly feel somebody's goals has nothing to do with you. Like, you should be able to have a goal. Like, our goal is to become a billionaire. We want to become a multi-billionaire. We want to have and own and found a unicorn company. So honestly, it's nobody's business to say that our goals are too ambitious, in my opinion. So I was slightly offended by that.
Yeah.
And I kind of, when I thought about it over and over again, I'm like, how could anybody think that somebody's goals can be too ambitious?
Now, I'll tell you where I can understand. Like, you do meet people every now and again where their heads are in the clouds and they're saying, oh, I'm going to be this one day, but they're not putting any work or infrastructure in place in order to make that happen. There's a lot of those people, especially nowadays with social media and entrepreneurship being, so cool. I can see how, like kind of Gary Vee says, he's like, if another, 20-some-year-old tells me that they're going to be a millionaire before they're 30, I'm going to punch him in the face. And it's not because he doesn't want you to be a millionaire by 30. It's because he just understands that there's a lot of people in their 20s who haven't even figured themselves out yet, and they haven't had a chance to even put infrastructure in place in order to make that dream a reality.
But I still think that instead of trying to put somebody down, basically is what that is when people say stuff like that. I feel like you should be encouraging them, even if they sound silly, still encourage and support. Because I think of it this way. If Jesus could spit in the mud and rub the mud in somebody's eyes and heal them of their blindness, and I'm created in God's image, I can literally do anything.
Yeah.
Anything is possible. So for somebody to say that your goals are too ambitious is like, I mean, they don't have faith at that point.
Yeah. And I mean, if you look at, freaking Elon Musk back to back with like 3 or 4 multi-billion-dollar companies, it's like, I'm not asking to be Elon. Like that's a whole nother level. I think what I'm doing is a whole lot easier than what Elon Musk is doing. I don't want his job.
Even Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos too. I still like Elon Musk more, but Jeff Bezos too.
But all of the greats, like the wealthiest people in the world right now, like they didn't start from like a $1 million company. A lot of them started from nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
All they had was faith.
They didn't even have a place to stay. Like Elon Musk was staying in his office at one point in time and showering at the like YMCA or the gym. My situation's probably slightly better. So
slightly better.
So I also think about it like this. I do not want to be I don't want there to be somebody who they blow up. They become, a multi-millionaire, multi-billionaire, whatever the case may be, and they're getting interviewed on CNBC or ABC, whatever the case may be, and they're, people, they're talking and they're saying, I had so many people tell me that I couldn't do it, or they didn't believe in me, or they didn't want to support me because I was crazy or whatever the case may be. I don't want to be part of that list of people. I personally don't. I would rather be, even if you believe that, I believe it's still more strategic and smarter to, instead of saying, oh, I think your goals are too ambitious, even if you secretly think that, I think it's more strategic and more advantageous for you to tell that person, like, oh, or even ask them, oh, how do you plan to do that? And just see what their plan is. And if they have a plan, if they give you a plan, ask them, oh, is there anything that I can do to help you further that plan along?
Or just say good luck and keep it moving.
Or good luck. Or even if they don't have a plan, you can say, oh, like maybe we could talk one day and maybe we can brainstorm some things that might help. I don't know. Or do I have any connections that you see that might be that you might be able to take advantage of? I think just believing in somebody, or not even necessarily believing them, but in being a support in some way has so much value, and it goes such a long way. Like there's a couple people in my personal network, and they have no idea how much they've impacted my life by the small things that they've done in my life. And I have not forgot any of them. There's not a name that somebody, it could have been something as small as somebody, maybe texting me and encouraging me on a day where I was really down. I don't forget those. Those people, I will make sure that, they are rewarded and taken care of when I'm at a certain point. And I've already kind of started to, provide more value to those people because of the value that they provide in my life personally. So I don't think it's possible to have ambitions that are too big, especially based off of what Jasmine said. However, even if you don't think somebody's actually going to achieve the thing that they want to achieve, just be strategic and see if there's a way that you can support anyway, because if they do, imagine the reward for you helping them. But if you don't support and they make it anyway, you're going to be one of those people who are going around telling people like, I knew such and such when, and then when people ask you, oh, do you still talk to that person? Or, what did you help them do? you have to say, no, I don't talk to that person, and no, I didn't help them do anything. And then when they say why, you're going to have to say, I thought their ambitions were too big. It just sounds, when you future pace it, it sounds not very intelligent. There's just no strategy in it, in my opinion. But that's my opinion.
And if you are a business owner right now and you're feeling like how we felt, kind of offended because somebody is thinking or saying that your goals are too ambitious, forget them. Forget about them. You have us. We're supporting you, and we love you. We hope that you're doing amazing. And if there's any way that we could possibly support you and your business, then please reach out and let us know. Yeah. Our email is in the show notes. You have support and encouragement coming from, if nowhere else, from here. So this is your reminder. If you need to hear it again, then listen to this again, because we're here for you.
And also remember, it is free. Absolutely free. It costs $0 and 0 pennies to dream big, to say that you want something. It costs nothing at all. It takes nothing. So why not?
So dream big, and don't forget that your goals matter. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.
If you don't diversify your investment portfolio, you could end up losing it all. But most business owners don't know how to diversify to mitigate those risks. That's why we created this resource for you. This passive investing guide is a must-have if you're planning to invest in businesses. Don't hesitate. If you have more than 25 grand liquid, then you can't afford not to take advantage of this resource. Download the 4 reasons why in 2021 you need small businesses in your portfolio now by going to www.abundantculture.co/guide.
Thank you for listening to the Abundant Culture Podcast with Jazz and Joe. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you subscribe, then leave an honest rating and review. And remember, we're ready to buy your business. So if you're ready to sell or passively invest in other small businesses, go to abundantculture.co for more information. We publish episodes every Friday, so we'll see you next week.